Hey, how's it going, YouTube? How y'all doing today? I did get that job squared away yesterday. I went to go look at the man's property. His property is already pretty good. Before I went over there, originally in my head I was thinking, oh, he probably got a field like mine that I'm gonna have to do a lot of work on to get it done. His grass is already pretty good. So the amount that I was going to charge has dropped drastically. Probably close to, well, I mean, it dropped drastically, like 50%. Well, in my head, I was like, if I was going to turn, like if I had this field again from the very beginning and I was going to turn it into a field of grass, how would I do it? And then I made an estimate on that number. But when I went to go look at his field, it's already he's already got a lot of grass on it. So the grass, his field already has a serious layer of thatch on it. And so to me, that's an indicator that he has a perennial grass on it. He's got some kind of a Bermuda grass growing on it, is what I would think. Is what I think I'm looking at. He's got some kind of Bermuda grass growing on it. He's got it growing all over. I would say about 90% of his field is already grass. He's got a lot of clover on it too. 80 to 90% is already grass. So the amount of money that I'm gonna charge him dropped drastically. That's still okay though. I still got a lot of I still got that escrow check that I got to put away in the bank. I'm still sitting on about $4,000. I'm sitting on about $4,000 or $5,000. So that's perfectly fine. Yep. Well, this morning I was looking at things. I made a list of things that I would buy right now with this money that I have. I got on the internet. I ran a mortgage calculator for just what current interest rates are on rate terms for a piece of land. So right now, a $450,000 agricultural loan on 30-year finance is about $2,000 a month from a USDA loan at a 4.5% rate. I took a look at that number and I was like, you know what, if I was gonna buy that property, I would be willing to buy it if I had $10,000 in my bank account. If I had $10,000 in my bank account, that would give me 5 months to grow one crop of hay, then sell it to make money to start covering some of that debt, that debt expense, that debt service. And as far as equipment goes, I could just take the tractors that I have right now. I could take the big tractor that I have right now, and well, $450,000 will buy me about 80 acres. Will buy me anywhere from about 75 to 80 acres of real good land that's already been flattened. It's already a grain field. If it's like a wooded area, that land is much cheaper. But in terms of just buying a grain field, I'm able to buy about $450,000 worth of land for $2,000 a month right now. When I consider that I would be willing to buy that land as of right this moment, if I had $10,000 in my bank account, I'm already about halfway there. My whole big thing right now is that if I ran into an emergency situation, I could start liquidating my cattle. I have appreciated assets that I'm able to liquidate like immediately. These cattle I could turn into cash immediately. If I just took them to a sale barn, I'd have people bid on them that day, and then I would make money. And so if I ran into a dire straits, horrible situation, I could start liquidating my cattle to cover the cost of debt, debt service. And so if I had $10,000 of cash, what I would do as of right now, because of where I am in terms of I have these assets, and these assets have appreciated more than I've put into them. I've made a positive return on these animals. If I went and took these animals to the market right now, I would make a positive return. It's just common sense for me. I mean, The average month I spent about $500, maybe $650, and I paid well, I put about $125 into each one of these animals, right? When I think about it long term, 6 months, let's say I put the $650 into these animals. That's about what, $4 grand or something like that. And if I put $4 grand into these animals, and I also had a few animals that I sold and I already made about $150 of net profit on. And so when I think about it like that, yeah, I mean, I would have to, like, if I took this guy to market right now, I would have to make about $600 on him to make a positive return. And I'm gonna make $600 on an animal like this. They'll give me $600 for him. $600 would be like $1.10 a pound, $1.25 a pound, and I would make that. So I have a majority of these animals. I will make money on them. If I took them to the market right now and had people bid on them, I would make a positive return on these animals. And so if I bought this piece of land, and I owed $2,000 a month on it, let's say I bought 80 acres, and let's just say we hit a horrible drought. There's just something that happens that's just beyond my control. I can start liquidating my animals to cover the cost of debt expense on that property until I start producing a cash flow on that property. And the equipment that I have right now, I can just take my tractor. Hauling my tractor an hour away is going to cost me but a couple $100, a few $100. I could take my tractor over to the new field, and I could have that new field growing grass within a day. I mean, if my life depended on it, I could do it in 24 hours. If with the equipment that I have right now, if it was like, man, I need to do this or I'm gonna die, like, legitimately, if it was do or die, I could do it in 24 hours. I could have a 75-acre field prepped in 24 hours. And my whole big thing right now is when I look at me, right? Like, when I take a critical look at myself and I look at what I'm capable of, there is zero reason for me to doubt that I will do phenomenally well if I bought 75 acres. Like, I'm on 10 acres right now, and I'm doing so phenomenally well. If I bought 75 acres, I would do phenomenally well. That is what I would just anticipate, right? Why is there any reason to doubt myself? Like, when my 10 acres look like this, why do I have there is zero reason for me to doubt myself. If I went on 75 acres right now, I would do I would do phenomenally well. There is zero doubt in me. I have the work ethic. I have the experience. I have, I have what it takes, right? Like yesterday when I went to go look at Senor's field and I walked around his field, I realized, like, I've kind of known that, like I'm real good at this. And and one of the big reasons that I'm so good at this is because I spent so much time doing it. I spent it's been over 12 years now. Imagine me doing what I'm doing right now for over 12 years. And so, well, I just walked around the Senor's field, the man's field yesterday, and I was able to look at his grass, and I was able to pick, and realize exactly what needs to be done. I was even able to recognize what kind of grass he has. He has a perennial grass that's growing by clone. He's got a perennial grass that's propagating itself via asexual method. So it's not going to seed. It's producing stolons, and it's producing rhizomes to spread. And I'm able to tell just by looking at the thatch on his ground. And so, like, certain things like that, there is zero reason for me to think that I would fail in any way, in any serious way. I'm sure that there will be hardships, but that's perfectly fine. How am I gonna live a life without hardship, right? So if I went and I realistically bought myself 80 acres right now, I would be doing phenomenally well. I would be making more money I would be doing, I mean, I would have a field of grass. There would be zero. I mean, I would be doing phenomenal. I'd be doing tremendously well. So that's my big thing right now, is if I had $10,000 in my bank account, and with these, with what I have going on right now, as well as the equipment that I have put away up front that I'm using to run this field, I would be willing to buy 80 acres for $450,000 on a 30-year leverage for 4.5 or less interest rate if I had $10,000 in my bank account. Yep, that's my big thing right now. We're supposed to get about 3/4 inch of rain later today. It's about an 80% chance. So if I get that 3/4 inch of rain up front, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait for that rain to happen, and then I'm gonna be drilling my seed on Tuesday morning, because a 1/2 inch of rain with the ground looking like it is right now, in 2 days the ground will have dried back up enough to for me to drill seed on it, because the ground right now is so dry, and it's so like it's all like all the rocks are like broken up into small little pieces. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. It ain't like this. It's a whole bunch of little rocks just essentially just sitting there next to each other. So there's a whole bunch of air in the field right now because of how hard I plowed it. If it rains a 1/2 inch over 4 or 5 hours, that soil will still dry out by Tuesday morning. It'll dry out enough for me to drill seed on it, and then it's supposed to rain again on Tuesday evening. It's about an 80% chance. Well, there's an 80% chance, 75% chance of rain on Tuesday evening as well. And so right now the big idea is I'm gonna let this rain happen before I drill any seed. I'm gonna let this rain happen because right now I'm at a very big risk of my seed washing away with what the soil looks like right now. If it rained real hard, let's say instead of raining 3/4 of an inch, it rained an inch, there was just more rain than anticipated, my seed's gonna wash away because my soil bed ain't firm at all. It's all clumped up and it's all broken apart. And so if there ends up being too much rain, or if there ends up being more rain than is forecasted, my seed's gonna wash away. And my ground is extremely dry right now. It's been broken up real hard. And so even if I get a 1/2 inch of rain, my ground, it ain't gonna be completely hydrated. It's still, by Tuesday morning, my field will be flat enough for me to drill seed on it. And so what I'm gonna do tomorrow, I actually need to go work on the man's tractor, Senor's tractor. He's got well, I just took a look at it. The thing hasn't had any grease put on it. Well, the man bought it just a little while ago. Doesn't have a drop of oil in it. It's got the engine oil. I'm thinking, well, I'm like, maybe what happened. I was thinking about it, but okay. So I went and looked at his tractor yesterday, and I pulled the dipstick from his engine oil. There wasn't a drop of oil in it, but the man told me that he had changed his hydraulic oil the other day, and so I'm guessing that maybe what had happened was that when he pulled his hydraulic oil, he also pulled his engine oil. He refilled his hydraulic oil, but he didn't refill his engine oil. That's what I'm guessing, because his tractor literally didn't have a drop of engine oil in it, and I don't think the tractor would even start if it didn't have, if the oil level was that low. I don't think he could even start his tractor. And so yep, I got to go pick up some new filters for him for his tractor. I got to go pick up the supplies that I need as well for his field. And then I got to go I got to go pick up filters. I got to go pick up oil. I got to go pick up the supplies for his field. I'm gonna go work on his tractor tomorrow, make sure it's all going okay. And then on Tuesday morning, I'm gonna be drilling my field. And then I got to go and get his field fertilized. And then Tuesday evening, it'll rain. I got to get my schedule a little bit more organized. This morning, I was taking a look at things that I would buy with the money that I have right now, with everything going on. And a few things that I would buy is, well, one, I would be willing to buy under market value cattle. So if somebody was having an emergency and they said, "Oh man, I need to get rid of my." Every once in a while, it does happen. They'll say, "Hey man, I got calves over here right now that I'm looking. I got 3, 4, 5 calves that I'm looking to get rid of, and I'll sell them at 50 cents a pound, 65, 75 cents a pound. That something like that, I'd be willing to buy. I'm saving for a piece of land. Another thing that I'd be willing to buy is if I need anything in terms of growing this grass, I'd be willing to buy that. But other than that, I'm just going to save my money. I'm saving my money right now to buy a new piece of land. Yep, it's yeah, like this guy right here. If I took him to market, I'd get more than $600 for this fella right here. He's a big old, he's a big old steer, man. I'd get more than 600 bucks for him, and I put about 600 bucks into him, into buying him and then raising him. And so, if I had an emergency situation, I could always liquidate my cattle for capital. If capital was what I needed, that is what I could do. And so, yep, everything is going well. It's going well. It's going good. I got a lot of stuff to get done, but. Yep, I gotta go work on Senor's tractor. I gotta go pick up his supplies. I gotta get my seed drilled here, and then yep, I need to not buy a tractor. That's the thing. I've been, well, I mean, my whole thing is, I look around and on the internet, and I see like I see tractors all over the place that are like 65, 75 horsepower, and they got less than 1,000 hours on them. And they're 20, 30-year-old tractors, and people are selling them for $7,000, $8,000. And I'm like, man, I don't need another tractor, right? So that's on my list of things not to buy. Not to buy another tractor. That's the big thing. But yep, got a lot of good things happening this week. I gotta go plant another field for a man, or excuse me, I gotta go work on another man's field. His field is extremely fertilizer deficient, like deficient in every fertilizer, everything from nitrogen to sulfur. He's missing. He's got 0 fertilizer on his field. So I gotta go get that done, and then yep, I got to I'm just keeping a look at real estate markets right now. But all right, that's it for me today, YouTube. Y'all have a good one.